we will discuss what is the best way to approach this. So importance of vaccination, as we all know, like herd immunity is kind of protection that people get through getting the disease or vaccination, which is going to protect the community, reaching a specific percentage. Based on the previous kind of vaccination, the measles, I believe, and varicella, it's about 80% of the population that is proposed. However, the talk now that maybe with COVID is unknown. It might not be as 80% or at 75% or even 90%. So those are talk, but the thing that is really emphasized the importance of vaccination, and we have to work all our effort toward that. So briefly, as you all know, that, for example, this schematic showing that if people are not immunized, but still healthy with a contiguous or contagious disease, is going to be really very, it's going to spread high if people are healthy, but still not immunized and not getting that disease. However, what we have, when we have few healthy or immunized people, the spread of the disease is going to still continue until we reach a specific amount or percentage of the population being vaccinated or getting the disease itself. So with COVID, I think the issue is that we are not 100% sure if that COVID itself is giving immunity after the disease. So that's why I think they are calling for vaccination over even for people get the vaccine to get the disease. So the last one is showing that the effect of people immunized and despite of having contagious disease within the community, the spread of the disease is going to be very limited or very small. Few about statistics in the States. So this is until June 16th. I just want you to focus on the curve and how is this curve started in January and how is the efforts are going through giving vaccination for everybody in the States, despite like it's a free country and a lot of people are resistant and there is a lot of hesitancy about the vaccination and the available vaccination side effects and all of the negative stuff that people are spreading. But despite that, there is increase of people getting the vaccination. And then you can see from January until June 16, considerable amount of people received vaccination. About over 300 million doses are given in the United States. About almost 150 million has been vaccinated or have been vaccinated. All of these numbers is still about 45% of the US population. So we are still way back in trying to combating this disease. Comparing that to statistics in Sudan, unfortunately, if you can see, even the data is not available that much for people to report, but I want you to focus on the fluctuation of time of vaccination. I'm not sure what happened at May 30th, but it seems that the highest vaccination was given at that time. I am supposing that maybe a lot of effort was paid at that time and a lot of word was being spread to the community about the vaccination. The same thing about this is the doses given at that time. But in this one is the vaccination is still, people are fully vaccinated. It's very small percentage, and the number of people vaccinated actually it is less than 100,000. So, and this is actually less or 2% of the population in Sudan, compared to the worldwide is 9.6. So that will show that the importance of vaccination is really something that we need to work on and maybe do our best to advocate for people to get vaccination. So basically the plan, as I discussed before, it's about a Q&A webinar through appropriate platforms. We proposed doing a SAPA webinar. We reached out to the SAPA group here in the States, and they are welcoming the idea. We are, last week actually, we discussed how we can really start with a very strong presentation and reach out for for people in Sudan, and we discussed that SAPA had a Facebook page. However, not all of the people in Sudan are having Facebook, and local TV as well. They have been doing some sessions of awareness, but we assume that not all of the population have the ability to see the national TV, especially with this day's issue with power. So the discussion was to target the medical professionals through the SAPA Facebook. Most of them are enrolled in that or following SAPA. And then to find out exactly what is the hesitancy within the medical professionals that we learned about. And then trying to reach the general public as well. The idea was through medical students doing surveys, and medical professionals do survey as well. So one of the proposed ideas as well is the medical professionals through survey for providers as well, and for allied health personnel like nursing and medical assistants and all of those, understanding their view of the vaccination now, and whether they are on board with advocating, and whether are they convinced themselves, because we know that a lot of medical professionals are still hesitant in taking the vaccine, let alone advocate for it. In regards to the general public, as I said, we are trying to use medical students maybe to spread the word and find out the feedback from the communities and from the general public as well, maybe through clinics, through neighborhoods. And so the idea is that the surveys will try or guide us to give a webinar that would be useful for people and to learn what is the most area that we need to focus on and try to work on it. So our colleague, my colleague Ali did some initial survey, and then I will leave the floor for him to discuss the survey questions, and we all together, we can come with a good idea and how to support people back home. This is briefly about the project, and feel free to ask any questions.
Thank you, Rubaba, for this presentation.
Welcome. Let me start. Sure.
As Rubaba discussed with you, this is a brief introduction about our project. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, let me get
Okay, that's great. So next, I'm going to walk you through the initial survey that we have discussed. Please, if you have any suggestions, any questions, or maybe if I missed anything, you can write your queries in the chat, or maybe raise your hand. Please, Lubaba, help me if I didn't notice any comments. So I'll start by sharing my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. As Lubaba mentioned, we have two target population. We have the medical professionals and the non-medical. The questionnaire will be in English and online form to medical practitioners, and will be in Arabic also for the general population. Why we targeted the medical professionals and the general population? Because the vaccine eligibility for up till now in Sudan is for medicals and elderly patient, plus anyone who has comorbidities. So let's get started. So this questionnaire is about 22 questions. Most of the questions are mandatory. First question is about whether you have heard about the COVID-19 vaccine. Simple answer, yes or no. And then relying on which source did you rely on to get the information about the vaccine. So these are the items we have been discussing. I think this question is important because we want to know which platform we would like to focus on. As the Baba mentioned, not all Sudanese population get access to social media like Facebook. So maybe if they are relying on TV or radio or anything, maybe we can target focus on other platforms. So we have the TV, newspaper, social media, friends and relatives, medical personnel, health authorities website, published papers, and others. The next question about the vaccine. Do you think the vaccine is beneficial for you and the community? Yes, no, maybe. And the next one is about what are the benefits of COVID-19 vaccine? Of course, here you can pick more than one choice. Here we are mainly targeting the medical personnel because they are, of course, more educated than the general population, and because they are their hesitance mainly because of they are more knowledgeable than others. So the first item prevents the spread of COVID-19 infection in the community, or it helps to reduce the severity and mortality of COVID-19 infection. It reduces the complications post-COVID-19 recovery, or it will enable me and my community to resume our normal lives free of constraints. Again, you can pick more than one choice. I believe in the first, when the vaccine was developed, the main idea behind it was to reduce the severity and mortality of COVID-19 infection. But recent publications and papers give us hope that it will prevent the spread of COVID-19 infection in the community. And of course, that will enable everyone to resume their normal lives. Next question. Has your doctor talked to you about the COVID-19 vaccine? Yes and no. I have added one item because we don't go to the doctor very frequently here. We don't have primary care physician. So unless you are ill, or let me say severely ill, you don't get to go to the clinic or hospital. So I added this item. I didn't visit any hospitals or clinics in the last months, 6 months. So the next question, did you get the COVID-19 vaccine? Either you didn't get it, maybe you have 1 dose or 2 doses. If you are vaccinated, which vaccine did you get? I think 99% who are vaccinated here in Sudan got AstraZeneca. I have added other items because we have some travelers, maybe UAE or Saudi Arabia or anywhere, where you can get Pfizer or Moderna. I have also heard that the Chinese vaccine is about to come or already started vaccination in the military forces. That's why. Also, I have an item. I don't know which vaccine I got. The next one, if you are not vaccinated, are you planning to get the vaccine? Yes, during this month, or maybe in the future, but are not determined. Another option, like I'm planning to take the vaccine when I travel outside Sudan. And that's also an important point because some of the population do not have hesitance about the vaccine itself, but maybe about the storage system, maybe about the AstraZeneca and so on. Other options like I have not decided yet, maybe, or no. The next one is, aside from the COVID-19 vaccine, have you ever refused to receive the vaccine? Yes or no? Sorry. And this is the main question. And as you can see, we have like 16 options. in your opinion, what are the causes of vaccine hesitancy? Of course, you can pick more than one choice. Maybe I don't trust storage system in Sudan, and I meant cold chain here, or because we don't know much about the vaccine because it was developed in a very short period. Maybe I don't need the vaccine because if I get the virus, I will have mild symptoms that will apply to medical personnel, the young one. Or I know someone died after the vaccine. Or maybe I'm afraid of getting blood clots or being infertile. I thought of, instead of mentioning blood clots or being infertile, mention that I'm afraid of the side effects in general. But I think these are the most concerning points here in Sudan. But if you think it's appropriate to state that I'm afraid of side effects as general, maybe we can change it. Also, the conspiracy theory, I don't believe in the pandemic and the vaccine, or I have a natural immunity from prior COVID-19 infection. Of course, because the vaccine is RNA, some will have some concerns about incorporating genetic material into the human body. So maybe the vaccine will affect my genes. The vaccine will cause allergic reactions, or it might not be effective against the new strains or the new virus variants. Because the vaccine can cause COVID-19 infection. Of course, we know that the live attenuated vaccine rarely can cause infection, but with this technique, the RNA technique, no, it's not expected to have the virus itself. The vaccine might be expensive, another option. And also, if vaccine centers are very crowded and the workflow is not well organized, maybe it's an issue. Or I don't have transportation to vaccine centers, or the vaccine is not available in my area/city. And also, of course, we have other options if you want to add any comment or any reason. Moving to the next question about side effect of the vaccine. As I have said, the most concerning side effects here are blood clots and infertility. Then we have the common side effects and the non-pain at injection site, fatigue, fever, and also death. So the idea, as Lubaba said, we would like to conduct this survey to know more about why the targeted population do not get vaccinated as expected. Because we all know how important the vaccine is. So maybe infertility is not an issue to some of the population, although it is a myth that it causes infertility. Maybe pain at injection site is not concerning. So we always have other options to add. And also, all of you, if you have heard any rumors about other side effects, or you think of any other side effects, I think the list can be more, can have more items here, especially in the side effects. Okay, so this is about the vaccine safety, if it's safe for pregnant ladies, if it's safe for breastfeeding mothers, and if it's safe for children less than 12 years. Then moving to vaccine centers to know if they are accessible, if it's near the participant of interest or not, or maybe they lack the knowledge about where the vaccine centers are located. So the next question, do you think there are variation between different vaccine brands? And if yes, which one is the best? So we have AstraZeneca, Pfizer, Moderna, Sinopharm, or they are all the same. Another issue also is people here trust Pfizer more, and they think Pfizer is more beneficial and trustworthy. So this is the question. I believe it's mostly targeting the medical professionals. So if Pfizer is available in Sudan, would you consider getting the vaccine? Yes, no, maybe. Because I have heard some medical practitioners telling me that they will be vaccinated when they got out of Sudan because they want to get Pfizer. And also I heard that Pfizer vaccine, they are trying to bring the Pfizer next month. So I would like to know whether the acceptance would increase if the Pfizer is available. Next question is about if you have any relatives, family or friends who died of COVID-19. Next one, about if you have any relatives, family or friends who took the vaccine and developed side effects. The next one is related to the side effects. So if yes, what are the major or alarming side effects your relatives developed? And here is a short answer. There are no options on this question. Next one, would you advise family and friends to get the vaccine? Yes, no. And the last one is about if you think the vaccine should be mandatory to limit COVID-19 infection. That's our survey for now. I would be happy to receive the feedback from you, any suggestions or additions. I also would like to thank the whole group for their valuable contribution. Lubaba, Shumi, Sarah, and Khalid, thank you all. And now the floor is open for discussion. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lubaba, and thank you, Ali, for the great presentation. So now, if you have any questions or any, please raise your hand, and I see Lubaba. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ali, for explaining the questions and the survey, and thank you for the efforts. I didn't get the chance to see it. I have a little bit of irritation from live these days. But I want to comment about the questions for, first of all, this is going to be generalized for medical professionals and the general public as well, or we're going to separate it. I think we discussed that last week because I feel like the question regarding the reasons maybe for hesitancy, there is a long list of options. If I am a general public that I don't have any knowledge of a medical field, I will be hesitant seeing all of these side effects written. So if we are going to separate the survey in two, like one targeted the general population, maybe just what they heard about what makes them hesitant about taking the vaccine, I think would be more helpful than listing all of the side effects that expected or rumors about the vaccine for now. I think this is my suggestion for that question. Another thing, it might be like an open-ended kind of question without options. And the question for the variation of vaccines, I think we need to think about what is available in Sudan before giving them like the chance to comment on which one they would like to receive. Because if they said, okay, we want Pfizer or Moderna, it's not there, I don't think we will be doing good for advocating for vaccine. And the other last thing, that the shocking news that we are out of stock currently in Sudan. So I just comment on that. Thank you. But it's great initial survey.
Thank you, Lubaba, for your questions. I hope you get better soon. Yes, as you mentioned, the form will be divided into medical and non-medical. But I don't agree with you regarding the vaccine hesitancy causes, because I think for me, and I think it applied to many of us, if you just check the boxes, it's easier than writing. So when you try to involve as many as you can to participate in this survey, I think most of the participants will leave this question unfilled. It's just my belief. I don't know if I make sense or not. And also, I have the option here to add any comment or the reason if it doesn't fit any of these items. That's what I think. But we can discuss on that more. Yes, there are many rumors here, and some of the items are correct. There are some valid reasons, and others are not valid. But we would like to know more about the. So, if someone wrote because of side effects, then I don't know what side effects he was actually referring to. So, I don't know. The other question was about what, Lubaba? Can you remind me?
The availability of the vaccine, and I think you answered that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just in the same area, I think if it is for the medical, my opinion, if it is for medical professionals, I think it is, for me, it is acceptable kind of listing all of the side effects. But for the general population, I think if we need to know exactly their hesitance, we can ask them why they are hesitant. And then the same way that you put the box for other, they can mention why, the reason. And instead, I think if I am someone I'm not familiar with anything of those, when I see a list, long list like this with maybe rumors that I heard or something that it might be happening or not, so I'll be more hesitant, my opinion. So, but thank you so much, Ali. Thank you.
Thank you for your concern. Thank you. And regarding the availability of the vaccines, I have talked to someone today. He told me that the vaccine campaign, the first one, will continue, I guess, for more 9 days, yes, until the 28th of June. And then they will start in July, because we out of stock here in Khartoum, but they would bring from other states because the acceptance of Khartoum is very low. So they are afraid of getting the vaccine being invalid or expired after this period. So they will bring it back to Khartoum. Some of the stock, of course, not all the stock. Thank you. Mohammed Tijani, I believe you have some comments.
All right, thank you, Ali. Thank you, Lubaba and Ali, for the great presentation. Really amazing. I'm not sure if this point can be relevant to or to which extent, which you already touched lightly in one of the questions. My suggestion is to add a question of how concerned you are of contracting COVID vaccine, because we live in a culture in Sudan or even here in the United States. People talk like Alhamdulillah, other beliefs and faith. They can influence or direct people's behavior toward the vaccines. If yes, or to which extent, scaling that from 1 to 10, I'm concerned 1 or 2 or 10 would be the maximum of contracting the COVID itself. Another point, which is kind of, I believe also, I'm just suggesting if you can add it or not, to make it more clear of the side effect of especially male infertility. I heard this question over and over and over in the United States or even from people in Sudan. So thank you so much. This is just recommendations if you can consider it or not. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mohammed, for your valuable contribution. I agree with you. It's important to assess how the participants are concerned, how much they are concerned about getting the virus, and maybe to include them or their families also, because especially the doctors here, we had the during the beginning of the pandemic, some doctors were very afraid that they say that I am not afraid of getting the virus, but I'm afraid that my family get the virus when I get back from the hospital. So this shows us how concerned they are, and also the other population, they don't believe in, I don't know, the pandemic or the, as you said, the protection from God and so on. So I think if no one minds, we can add this question to the survey. Thank you for the contribution. Azza, do you have any addition?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Lubaba, for the presentation, and thank you, Ali, for preparing the list of the questionnaires. I guess you answered part of my question, but I share the same concern with Lubaba, because you mentioning when you share your opinion about why you're not getting the vaccine. I was thinking the same, like Lubaba, leaving it for the people to list their own reasons. But I believe you're right. You're afraid that people might leave it blank and not answering the question. So giving them options is more makes sense. My other question is, I know we agreed that we should finalize the questionnaire today, so we can meet our timeline. The questions are part of it for the medical professions, and part of it are for the general population. One of them is the benefit. What do you think the benefits of the COVID vaccine? This is especially is for the medical professions. And I don't agree with this question, because I don't know what we are gaining from their answer and what we are looking for from this question. Do we need this question? And if the people answer this question, what are we going to gain from this question? So basically that's it. Thank you so much, Ali. Thank you.
Thank you, Azza, for your comment. If I understand you correctly, you're talking about the benefit of the vaccine, whether it prevent mortality or prevent the infection, or it will enable us to resume our normal lives. So here we target both medicals and non-medicals, but the main targets here the medicals, because some do not get vaccinated because they said that if I get the vaccine, if I get the virus, I'm sorry, I will have mild symptoms. So if its mainly purpose is to reduce severity and mortality, I know that I won't die or I won't be hospitalized from COVID-19 infection because I'm healthy and I don't have any comorbidities. So why do I get the vaccine? So also the last item will highlight some of the benefits. Of course, everyone knows if we reach the herd immunity, everyone will resume their normal lives. So this is a way of highlighting this issue while reading this questionnaire. I don't know if I answered your question or satisfy you or not.
Yes, I guess you did. I believe if the people said no, we're not getting the vaccine, then we should ask them the follow-up question is why. This is the same, because
you mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You mean why didn't you get the vaccine or what?
I mean, if people are saying yes to the vaccine, but it's not available, or it's not available, this question will not make any sense to them.
Yeah, but it's available for the meantime. It's available, and maybe it will be stopped for like 3 days or maybe 1 week.
Okay.
It's not. I know I have told you that last week we may be ending this campaign, but I have reached out to someone today, and he told me that the campaign is to continue and it will be available for the same population, the elderly and the medical personnel.
Yes.
Plus, yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Azza. And now I think we am. Do you have any comment?
Yes, assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ali. I think Dr. Lubaba and Dr. Azza, while they're discussing this, they answered a little bit and you answered. Because my concern was, is there is actually hesitancy or it was not available? Because once you say vaccination in Sudan, the first thought came to my mind is there is not available vaccination. Because if there was enough vaccination, why didn't they spread it to the public? Not only the medical personnel, like everybody in Sudan should take the vaccine. That means there is a kind of shortage, and it might not be a constant shortage. It could be a temporary shortage, and then they bring the vaccine, and then a temporary shortage. So people are not consistent. Like for example, if I go to the center and they say there's no vaccine, I will be under the thought that that's it. There's no more vaccine. So our people are up to date with the availability of the vaccine. That's one thing. And my other concern is the other targeted population are elderly. They're basically old people, I think. I don't know if you mentioned the age or no. Are they available to fill a survey in a way that you want them to fill the survey, or it's a short kind of survey? I know you said something that is in Arabic, but I know if there's a 60-year-old, they will not fill a survey for 3 or 4 pages. They want something that yes or no, 3, 4 questions, and you just survey them, and that's it. If they're going to take the vaccine, yes or no, why they're not going to take the vaccine, and they give you the answer, and that's it. So these are my 2 questions. Is actually there's hesitancy, or is it's a shortage? And then if they're old age, are they aware of the way they fill the survey if it's available to them? Thank you very much again, Dr. Ali.
Thank you, William. I think these are very important questions. Thank you. So regarding the availability of vaccine, at the start, I think in March or April, we have like 800,000 doses. So the Ministry of Health said that the priority for the most vulnerable, who are elderly or with comorbidities, and the medicals. But they were shocked that even the 8,000 are still there. They are not. They are still hesitant from the elderly and also the medical personnel, even though the vaccine is available for them. And you find the vaccine centers are empty at some days and full at another. So they were expecting that the vaccine campaign will maybe continue for 1 month or 2 months, and they will run short of the stock. But here it is still available, and it's even worse in other states out capital. So the problem now, yes, we don't have enough stock, but even the available stock is not distributed up until today. So we want to know why people are hesitant to take the vaccine, and maybe carry on afterwards. Because also we have the another stock coming in July, so we would like to be prepared when the next stock came. And also the other question about the targeted population. Yes, I think that's very important question. So to target the elderly, as Lubaba said, we are going to target the medical students. hoping that they will reach out to their families. And also, I'm planning to distribute the printed Arabic form and maybe fill it during interview in my hospital, Shab Teaching Hospital here in Khartoum. So, because everyone at the Shab is eligible to get the vaccines, he or she either elderly or have comorbidities. So, I would like to know, and also a Shab Teaching Hospital have a variety of population from Khartoum outside, and I think uh, the patients while waiting the clinics may be accessible to fill the questionnaire. Also, their relatives can help them, maybe their son or daughter or anyone. Thank you for this very important question. And also, if you have suggestions, you or any other fellows. And as comment or petition is Stephen Suni.
Hello.
Hello, Suni.
Yeah. So yeah, the same questions I was asking the other day, like, you know, we have to start working on vaccine hesitancy when we know the vaccines, people have the accessibility to the vaccine, right? If the vaccines are not available, we cannot work for the hesitancy, because when we will talk about it, they will ask like, where is the vaccine, right? So first you have to make sure the vaccines are available to them, and then we can only work for the, you know, the hesitancy. So the other thing is like the questions like, what are the benefits of the COVID vaccines, you think? Do you think that instead of that, like you was thinking like, you know, like we should be like, it's something like we are asked, we are judging their knowledge, instead of that, like you know, like we can just know their how much they know about it, something like that. Instead of that, like we can ask something like, how vaccines, what do you think that how vaccines will benefit you, like it will reduce the complication, or like what they want to say like about you know, the vaccines, rather than the benefits of vaccines, like more open-ended than the judgmental question, something like that. So that's two things. But otherwise, yeah, it's the great thing. But I think what at this point, what you are trying to emphasize is like, we can, you know, like it's kind of a, the vaccines will be available soon. So kind of a pre-survey, like, you know, what they are thinking about when the vaccines are available to them. That's also, we can put questions like that. We also like kind of pre-survey, and then, you know, if as soon as the vaccines are available, they can have it, something like that. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Sumi. Well, regarding the vaccine availability, yes, you're right. But in the meantime, we have the vaccine, and also the vaccine will be available in July. So we have the two options: either prepare ourselves to know what are the barriers to the vaccine, and why people do not get vaccinated during the last period of 3 months, I think. So in order to prepare ourselves, and also maybe talk to the health authorities about these issues, if we can do something, or maybe we can wait until the second batch came and then start our survey. So it's up to the whole team, including you, Sumi. And also, the other question was about the benefits of the COVID-19 vaccine. So do you think it's better to be open question and leave in the items, or what did you mean by that? I didn't get you totally.
Yeah, as you know, like when I was working, still I'm continue to work with the vaccine hesitancy over here. So, you know, like if you ask them about the benefits, or the people doesn't want to, I think that's the general tendency or psychology of the people, like, you know, they, when you tag you as a medical professional, so they want to learn from you, instead of like, you know, how much do they know. So, you know, like, and also when we teach them, we should not be judgmental, like how much do they know. Our duty as a, you know, medical health professional is like, what they don't know, we have to let them know. So that's the thing here. So when I you know, like any vaccines, like as like you know, my project is about the COVID vaccine hesitancy, but at the same time I'm trying to increase the rate of other vaccines as well, just say like Hep A or shingles. So when I ask about them the questions like, okay, have you what do you think about like shingles, and you know, like, did you see anybody in your family, or you know, in your neighbor, or like your family friends, like who had shingles, and how painful it is, something like that. And do you have any, did you see any ads? So it's like an open-ended discussion, other than like, you know, what do you think, these are the benefits. So like, you know, what's your what's like, did you see anybody, something like that, or do you want me to discuss it, or do you need more information, so I can provide you some information about it, or I can talk to it, or if you prefer to read about on your own, so I can provide you some website for it. So, you know, that's how our approach, I think that's how it works. So it's same thing here. So instead of like, you know, what are the benefits of vaccine if you get it, we we can probably say like how vaccines can benefit you, or like what do you think that, you know, how vaccine will work if you get it, like have them more like, you know, space to answer,
Okay.
something like that. Is that clear? Like,
Okay. Okay. I get your concern. And yes, yeah, yes, you're right. Um, it's very important not to be judgmental or uh, that kind of thing. So maybe we rephrase it. Um, maybe you can send me the proposed question here, and we will work on it further. But the primary aim, as I have mentioned here, is to know what people know and what they don't know in order to start our webinar and vaccine awareness campaign. So I don't know if they already know the benefits. So they already know it will end the pandemic for example. So I don't have to highlight that during the webinar and so on. But yes, you have a valid point, and thank you, Sumi. Um, do you have other comments, Sumi? Or,
no, I will look. I mean, you know, I edit a little bit, of course, from the Google Doc, but yeah, I'll take a look for the final questions, and
okay.
I'll keep editing, like, you know, whatever I feel appropriate. But I think, yeah, those are some things, like when we, you know, like we have to understand their sentiment, and their expectation is like, we are there to educate them, right? Not
Yes,
to, you
exactly.
know, judge them, like how much do they know, something like that. So always like, it's hard in the beginning, but you know, we'll come to know, like when you talk more and we go more forward, something like that.
Yes, exactly. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sumi.
Thank you, Sumi and Ali. We have Sarah and Krupa. They have some maybe question or comments.
Yes, of course. Please, then Sarah, and then Kuba, if I spell that correctly. So yeah, Sarah.
Thank you, Ali, and thank you, Lubaba, for your wonderful presentations. Actually, this is a great work. The initial survey is so great, but I believe that we will need to take it a step further to make it like a population specific, either like medical students and medical profession, and to the general public. In that case, maybe we can reform the questions into a simpler language for them, easier for them to understand and relate. I would like to comment on Lubaba's feedback for the concerning about the points about the adverse effects about the vaccine. one of the challenges, one of the contributors for the vaccine hesitancy is like the loud voice of social media and how they're spreading rumors everywhere. Like everybody says something, a post on Twitter or Facebook, and just people believe that, and there's no any kind of evidence based on what they say. And now, like in the United States, the government is doing like introducing bills to control that and make sure that there's public awareness about the right and correct information, and trying to fight this misinformation in an attempt to control these rumors. So part of the adverse effects are based on the rumors we are spread on social media. And so we make sure that they heard about it or they didn't hear about it. So we want to assess that. So and it also can be an indicator or like something to compare and contrast to. In terms for the benefits, I agree with Sumi and you as well, Ali, that also as it's a survey, we're assessing how much they know about the vaccine, either from the good side and the bad side. And that way we can use this information, these statistics based to correct any misinformation they have and complete and fill any gaps they have. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for your great work.
Thank you, Sarah, for the feedback. I believe any questions were developed or designed by you. I think the benefits itself, this question is designed by you, so thank you. It wouldn't be done without the help of you and the team. Maybe this is the initial, yes, this is the initial questionnaire, and we will design one for the medical personnel and students, and the other one avoiding the medical jargon and the using simple language, as you said. So the floor is open. We will work, of course, maybe with the help of you and Baba to translate this form into Arabic and then go further. But this is the initial one. And thank you for your feedback. So, Kuba?
Yes. Hi, Dr. Ali. So I was going to say the same thing that Sarah said regarding the fact that some of these questions are too specific. There's too much medical terminology, so it would not be okay to give it to the general public. Another thing was that I think that instead of specifying the adverse effects or complications, I think we should keep it open-ended, because perhaps we might be leaving out something like blood clots and infertility. I agree that these might be common concerns, but maybe having it more open-ended, like side effects, and then having them clarify would give us more idea into what the specifics are. Age, gender, like we should do a demographic analysis. So I think it's important to clarify like the age range, the gender, the education status, and even maybe like location. But I think sticking to one geographical location, which has a more diverse population, is probably the best. So perhaps like a larger city in Sudan would probably be better, instead of, you know, giving it to even like maybe villages or towns outside of a larger city. So I think that, does that make sense?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Kuba, for your comments. So with regards to the Arabic version, we will do it, and we started this week, but I didn't think that it would be beneficial to discuss it with you because I didn't know the next batch, are they all Arabic readers or not. That's why I avoided presenting it here. Anyways, we will work on it the next week, and we will share it with those who can read Arabic. Also, with regards to the demographic data, yes, I do agree. We can add the items you have raised, like age, sex, and residence, and so on. But the idea here, as Dr. Nader said, when we started this project, we didn't meant to take anything out of this survey as analysis or maybe doing a manuscript in the future. But the main idea is to collect as much data as we can to know what are the barriers to vaccination and then target them during the surveys. But yes, I agree with you.
You know, like maybe a younger population will be more open-minded about the vaccine, and so they will have a different kind of answer compared to a geriatric population. So if we have just like kind of like an age range that specifies, and we can like kind of, because are we going, like, is the idea to submit this abstract to a conference?
Well, up until last week, the primary aim of this survey is to help us through the webinars we are going to conduct, but I don't see any, I don't mind, or I don't think anyone minds if we use this data to maybe draw some discussion and publish this abstract in the future.
Yeah, because I think if we have more demographic data, maybe you could even publish a manuscript, you know, because this is a qualitative questionnaire. So
yes, sure. Okay, maybe if you are interested or anyone else from the NEO fellows is interested in this survey or maybe going further beyond the survey to write a manuscript, please contact Lubaba. I guess Lubaba is the leader of this project, so we can discuss further, maybe add some questions in this survey to be suitable for publishing in the future. And that's
if you allow me, here, sorry.
Yes, Lubaba?
Yes, yeah, to emphasize the point of the reason behind this survey, actually. As Ali mentioned and Dr. Nader discussed it last week, the aim from this survey is to get like a basic knowledge that we're going to build our webinar to target what are the reasons behind hesitancy in people going and getting vaccine in Sudan. And that is going to be helping us because we're going to finish this in a short kind of time. But if we are planning to do an abstract, I think we need to survey more people and to have adding all of these specifics about age, gender, education. So this is a general idea about what we need to focus our webinar on rather than publishing an abstract. But definitely the issue, I mean, the idea is a great idea and we can work on it, but for the time being, we are trying to do this in a specific kind of or short time of period to deliver the webinar. But your idea is really great and we will work on it, I think, in the near future. And Dr. Nadir can add to what I said. But thank you, it's a great idea, Krupa.
No problem.
Thank you so much, Lubaba, Krupa, Ali, and the rest. I think it's the idea, we discussed it last week. The survey is to collect some information, and this information can be used for the webinar as a basis. So you want to talk about something and then you open the floor for discussion and questions, and you don't want to go there and talk about something that's already people know or of no benefit. So you want to get something to base on so that when you talk about vaccine hesitancy, at least you have the idea that there is a hesitancy as the first question. Is it hesitancy or is it shortage? So if from the questionnaire we figure out there is hesitancy and the more common reason for hesitancy is X, Y, and Z, then at least when we do the webinar, it will be easier to base our first few minutes to discuss about, we found these are the common hesitancy reasons, this number one, we think this, and so forth. And then you open the floor for more question, more discussion, more. So the idea is to collect basic information. But I think the group here did a great job addressing many aspects, and these are 20 plus questions. And I think if you are getting all these questions, I think there is no harm of adding the demographic, as Krupa mentioned, age and so forth. So that target, last week we were targeting few people to answer few simple questions. And again, it depends on who and the actual area, like Ali and your team in Sudan. How many of you are willing to distribute this? Is it paper format? Is it electronic format using connection networking? If it's only paper, you are asking patients at the hospital or your friends, physician at one hospital, couple of hospital, then I agree with Lubaba's approach, which is we collect matter of 20, 40, 50 answers, and this will be just for the purpose of the webinar. If you are distributing this for medical students in, let's say, 5 universities in Khartoum or more, or if you are using it for all accessible physicians through WhatsApp group and other way of connecting, then you will have more responses. Let's say you are approaching more than 100, 200. Then in that sense, you are getting a lot of information. Why don't you use this information as Krupa suggested for an abstract or manuscript? If you are targeting this number, higher number, with many questions like what we have here, then why don't you add the demographic so that when you are writing about, let's say, an abstract or writing for a manuscript, then you will need to identify which group, let's say 40 and less or younger, 40 to 60, let's say, and 60 and above, something like that, and see, or you want to cut off 50 plus and less than 50, something like that. So you have some demographic information. When you are writing the paper or the manuscript, at least you will discuss, we found in this group, so and so and so, and in that group, so you can elaborate more. For that purpose, I think you need a demographic, some more questions, a few questions in addition to what you are planning to do. So Ali and Lubaba, see with your team what you want to do and how you want to apply this. If it's very simple, short and small group, then you don't need a lot of information. If you want to increase the number, then you will get two birds with one stone. You will get the information for your webinar, and you can use the data for coming seminars or coming conferences as poster if you want to apply or submit your poster, or if you want to go ahead with a manuscript in that sense also. That's a good suggestion from Krupa. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nader. Of course, we will discuss this point further in our group. And thank you, Baba, also for the illustration. I think Krupa has shared the concern about side effects also with Lubaba and Azza, I believe. So if you can take this discussion to our group who are interested in this survey. So if the majority think we should maybe try to change the question and not include so many items and leave it open question, maybe we can change that, no problem. Thank you, group, again. I guess Malaz, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Lubaba. Thank you all for letting us sharing our opinion. Just I want to emphasize the point that's shared by Lubaba. As I guess, negative informations or negative ideas in such hot topic will be spread very rapidly. So I strongly agreed with Lubaba regarding the side effect of the vaccine. If this will be provided to medical professionals or medical students, for me it's accepted. But if we will spread this to general populations, I guess they will look it as given information. If I'm not medical, I will see it will cause blood clot, it will cause infertility, so some people, they are taking it as a given information from our side. So I strongly agreed with the Papa in this. And thank you. And we can share in sharing this survey if you want our help, definitely, to medical professionals around us. Like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Malaz, for your comment and also your willingness to participate. Please reach out to Lubaba to discuss this issue further. And also, as I said, the side effects, maybe we can discuss it more to see. Yes, you have valid points. We will weigh the risk and benefits of this question. So thank you, Elaz. And is it from the last time or you have another question?
Yes, Dr. Ali. I just thought about this question because I don't have access to the whole, maybe you included, but I don't have access to the whole survey. I was just concerned of the basics of the basic, like if, again, back to the general population or the targeted population, the first thing that came to my thoughts is, do they have actually reliable information about where to get the vaccine? Like if I was a senior and I wanted to take the vaccine, do they know where to go, who to contact, how to schedule, all these things, the basic things to get the vaccine, that the population have access? I don't know, in Sudan, they have hotlines people can call to see where can I get the vaccine, what is the closest center, which hospital is providing it, because you said it's going to come again in July. So people actually know how to access, how to get the vaccine. They know the center. If they don't have transportation, is anybody willing to help to take them to the vaccine? So this is these basic things that we don't think about it here in the state, but in Sudan can be a big problem. I don't. Maybe you have it in the survey, but I don't have the access.
Okay, thank you, Rehan, for the question. I think I agree with you. It's an important aspect to address. So we came across this issue, but in brief, we asked about if you have, if you know vaccine centers are nearby or not. So are there vaccine centers located near you? So maybe yes or no, or maybe they don't know. So this will give us some aspect that they don't know much about the vaccine centers, whether they are, I know that they are distributed in Khartoum state, but I wanted to know whether they know the vaccine centers, the nearest one to them or not. Also, maybe we can add more questions about the information. I think it's mainly for non-medicals, because medical they they know someone who knows, and all the non-medicals have that person who knows. So I have also added this: from which source do you get information about the vaccine? So the Federal Ministry of Health also have Facebook page, and also they have sometimes they are in TV and newspaper. So, and also social media other than Facebook. So maybe we can add some questions if you think. Thank you for your question. Sumi, is that from the last time you raised hand, or you have another concerns?
Oh, sorry, probably it's from the last time, but anyways, I think I agree with her. I did not see, I did not recognize her name anyways, but I think, yeah, before working with the, hesitancy, same thing again, like accessibility and barriers. So these are the barriers for the vaccines, like, do they know where the vaccines are available, and do they have the transportation to get the vaccines? And, if the vaccines are available. So those are the barriers. So probably I mean, if you think it's necessary, you may include that question as well. That what are the barriers to get the vaccines, something like that. Thanks.
Thank you, Sumi, for your comment. I don't see any more raised hands. Or Abir, I don't know.
Yes, I have a question regarding your questions here in survey. Have you ever refused a vaccine before? I'm just curious, what is the point behind these questions? And do we have well-established vaccine program for adults in Sudan?
Thank you. Thank you for this question. Actually, I have been discussing this issue with Sarah. Maybe she will provide you with an answer better than me. I was planning to rephrase this question to, did you get the hepatitis B vaccine for medical practitioners? Because we don't have vaccination campaigns here in Sudan, except for pregnant ladies and children. So the medical practitioners are advised. I don't know whether it's mandatory or not. I don't think it's mandatory. Anyways, we all know, and we are strongly advised to get the hepatitis B vaccine for the medical personnel. But the non-medicals, I don't know how to target this question. Regarding what is the idea behind this question, Sarah will get you a better answer. Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ali, so much. So about the question, well, its aim is to assess if the public or the medical, it's mostly the public, are against the whole idea of vaccination, or just they are against the idea of COVID-19 vaccine itself. Because, like, for instance, some people say that the MMR vaccine causes adverse effects like autism, for instance. So I want to make sure that they are just like they're against the whole vaccine as a principle, or just they are concerned about the COVID-19 vaccine itself because like it is manufactured and was available for the public at earlier than expected under the urge of the pandemic. And maybe it's like people are just afraid it's maybe like a testing and they are trying to include the public as a part of phase 4 clinical trial. So just make sure that they are against the whole concept or just the COVID-19 in specific. Maybe we need to better rephrase the question to make sure like it's suitable for both the medical professions and medical students and the public, to make it like clear for them to relate to answer the question. But this is like the whole idea of the question.
Thank you for that. In my opinion, maybe if you just rephrase the questions to, do you believe in vaccine as general? And if not, why? It will be better so you can target both the medical professionals and general populations. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you so much, Abir. Thank you so much for the suggestion. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for the suggestion, and we will discuss it further in the group. Thank you. Abu Zar, do you have any comment?
Yes, I have just, if you add a demographic part, like age-wise, from like say 20 to 40 years old, and say I am 30 years old, and you gave me this questionnaire and you ask me why you have hesitancy to taking this vaccine. I will say that nobody offered me vaccine to refuse or accept it. So you will not get any benefit from me. Like, I will not benefit you. So how do you gonna deal with this part? This is my question.
Yes. Thank you, Abu Zak, for the question. Well, the questionnaire will be distributed through WhatsApp group and other platform to medical practitioners who are all eligible to get the vaccine, plus the other for non-medicals will be distributed in hospitals to know because everyone in the hospital, the clinic, referred clinic. So since they are going to the referred clinic, so they have comorbidities, then they are eligible to get the vaccine. I think, did, did I answer you? Or do you have any further?
Okay, so you mean that this questionnaire not for everybody?
Yes, exactly. It will be distributed to the doctors and patients.
I do not have any experience in research, but I think this is a kind of, if you distribute a questionnaire to a specific type of population, like in hospitals or medical professionals, you will not get the correct answer or the correct information that you're looking for, a kind of bias or something like this, according to my knowledge. So is that right?
Yes, I understand what you are concerned about. So this is not, at least in the meantime, it's not a questionnaire for paper, works, manuscript, and so on, or publishing. It's about to know whoever is eligible to get the vaccine, what are the reasons, if they are not vaccinated, of course, what are the reasons they are still not vaccinated? It's about vaccine centers, about the beliefs, about their side effects, their fear of side effects, or so on. So it would make sense to target only the population who will benefit from the vaccine at the best point you have mentioned. Because if I'm not eligible to get the vaccine, what is the point to know why I'm hesitant? Because I'm not hesitant, maybe. So that's the idea. Do you have any further concerns?
Oh no, thank you so much. I appreciate.
Thank you, Abuza. Thank you. Any other questions?
We have Muhammad Al-Fadil and Muhammad Tijani. And before you ask your questions or add comments, I agree with Ali. This is the start. And for anyone who is interested, please contact Lubaba. She mentioned, or she put her number on the chat if you are interested in adding or commenting or contributing to this project. You can check with her with the WhatsApp group, and this is work in process and progress. So I appreciate every effort from every one of you guys. Thank you. So Muhammad Al-Fadil and then Muhammad Tijani, go ahead.
Okay, assalamu alaikum. I think it's a great work, Lubaba and Ali and all the team and the discussion. I just have a couple of questions. One on, do we have like a certain like target or deadline that we are going to do this questionnaire for the preparation for the webinar, and when the webinar will be conducted, and how many, the target of people that we are focusing on, like how many people that we are going to survey the questionnaire, like 100 people, like the same question that Dr. Nader was talking about. But overall, I think it's very good. It's very good thing that we're doing to collect many data as initially, and just to have like general knowledge and scientifically approaching the impression of people and their what was going on their minds. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Muhammad, for the valuable feedback. Well, regarding the how many participants are we targeting? We are still working on that. I think for the deadline and other issues, maybe Lubaba can, if we didn't set any deadlines till now, please correct me, Lubaba, if I'm wrong, but we want to work on that as soon as possible. The targeted population, at the beginning, we were targeting 50 medicals and 50 non-medicals, but if we are planning and if we see that many of the fellows are interested, maybe we can expand our work and to target more population, as Dr. Nadir said, and maybe try to publish this work. Thank you, Muhammad.
And the webinar, is there any
Yeah, I can.
information?
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for the question. Yeah, initially we said the timeline is not specifically, but within the upcoming 3 weeks. But the issue that we want to make sure that the vaccine is available in Sudan when we hold the session. We will prepare and be ready whenever the vaccine is available for people in Sudan. We can go ahead and hold the session. We contacted SAPA before and they are aware. I expect it's within 3 weeks we will be able to do the webinar.
You're disconnected, Lubaba.
So I will follow up with what Lubaba is saying is we targeted like timeline. Lubaba, I think you are in and out, so I will follow on your comments. So within the next 3 weeks, hopefully we will get some information from the survey. So in this coming 2 days, maybe we can finalize the questions, and hopefully next week and the week after we can distribute and get some information. In 3 weeks, hopefully we will have information ready to analyze, and by that time, hopefully we have connection with SAPA, so that maybe within 3 weeks, 4 weeks, we will be ready for the webinar. That's the timeline. If things are in line, hopefully the vaccine will be available during this period. So Lubaba can try again if you want to add any.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why my internet cut off, but I feel like a lot of people are interested in the manuscript. I think something came into my mind. If we can start expanding the survey and include more people, however, we can build our webinar based on the initial survey or responses that we get, and continue do the bigger part and the bigger project as a manuscript. So it is really beneficial if we have enough people to help.
So my suggestion is if now we have 30 plus in this meeting. So if we start with the target for the coming 2 weeks, just for the brief information for the webinar. But as you mentioned, Lubaba, why don't we try to distribute the questionnaire with adding the demographic and some other questions for the general population, and ask all these participants in this meeting to help distribute in their network, like their families, their friends' families, something to get information out of the public, and see if we can get increase the data collection, and then from this data collection or whatever we can get within this time period, like by 3 weeks period, we can at least have data that we can analyze for an abstract or a manuscript, take it next step from there. So if people agree who are in this meeting, If people are busy, that's something else. We understand. So again, if you have questions, I think Muhammad Al-Fadil, you mentioned your question, right? If you have any,
Muhammad Tijani is
Muhammad Tijani, yes. Okay, go ahead, Muhammad Tijani.
All right, thank you, guys. Just try to highlight a point Dr. Abu Zar already addressed, which is I believe it's important to ensure that our survey or questionnaire for the general public get to the targeted group with the vaccination. And that's a great point Dr. Abu Zar already mentioned earlier. I'm not sure if everybody got with him on the same page or not. That our general public questionnaire get only to the targeted group or geriatric group eligible or targeted in COVID-19 vaccine in Sudan. Thank you so much.
I totally agree with you, Mohammed. Thanks for elaborating or clarifying this point. I think, yes, if we asking the question about the vaccine, it's better to see who's eligible and ask them the question and see what, if there are some barriers, what are these barriers or hesitancy, what the reasons for that. Completely agree. So if I think sometimes they call it inclusion criteria, what the inclusion, what the target subjects or participants you want them to be enrolled or included in your questionnaire. So we started with a very simple idea is just patients in hospital or clinics who are with either comorbid condition, most likely, or with the age is like older patients, I assume 50 plus, and medical personnel, including physician, medical students, nurses, or anyone who is eligible because they are in the medical field for the purpose of this webinar. But also, if you want to increase the pool, want to increase the data, I think we can use every one of you guys to also contact other physicians in the same area, who are eligible in Sudan. And if there are family members or friends, relatives who are older, we target this group and ask them the same questions and collect some information. For that, I think we will need also an electronic form link or WhatsApp, something like that. Thank you. Thanks, Mohammed. Ali Lubaba, you want to add anything before we go to the next?
I would like to thank all the fellows for the great comments and suggestions. It's really, I'm really happy seeing how much you are interested, and I'm very enthusiastic to work with you all. So please, as I have mentioned, contact Baba if you have any further questions or you want to participate or interested in this project. Thank you.
Yeah, I would second what Ali said. This is really great start. I look forward to work with all of you, and I see a lot of potential of work this year, inshallah. So please feel free to contact me if you are interested in this project. You are welcome. And another thing for all of the fellows, we do have a WhatsApp group. We discuss through the week stuff that we raise up during the meeting. So feel free to reach out for me as well to add you to general WhatsApp group. But I'm really excited, as Ali said, to work with you this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Lubaba. And again, as Lubaba mentioned, the fellows can contact each other through WhatsApp or through other means, email or calling each other to work as a team or as a project team and hopefully we will get things done, and hopefully we will learn from each other. Thank you everyone for your contribution. So the next part of the meeting, I think we went over the 2 hours, and for the initial Zoom meeting, maybe we will go over a little bit above the 2-hour limit for the meeting. I hope that's okay. If you have anything to do or you have to leave the meeting, that's also fine. We will record this meeting, so if you want to come up back and look at what we said after you leave, you will have the opportunity to review the recording. The second section, I think, is about preparing for next week meeting, putting the agenda. And before I do that, I think some of you want to get some basics of the basic of the research. So if you know Microsoft Excel, Word, Slide, or PowerPoint, that's well and good. That's excellent. If you don't, I think one thing you can think about is go to Microsoft.com, and there are the options of if you don't have an account with them, it's a free service, so you can log in and create an account, and they offer Word, Excel, and PowerPoint for free with limited features. If you want to get all the features, then you have to pay and get registered for the full features. I'm not advertising for that. It's just a free tool that's available for us. So this one thing you can do while we are waiting for next meeting and in the coming days, weeks, so that people can learn some of the basic of using these tools. Other option is Google Documents or Google Slides or Google Sheets, which are basically similar to Microsoft. It's on the Drive, Google Drive. You can also learn some of the skills used for the basics of the sheet or the document or the PowerPoint. We're gonna use this in the future, either or Microsoft or Google. We will try to use Google because it has the collaboration part, but we need you to know the skills to use anyone or both of them. That would be great. If you want, you can use YouTube for learning some of the tips. In our app, we have some videos collected for this purpose. So if you have some time, you can, it's mostly 5-10 minutes kind of clips, or you can follow this and learn some. I would suggest work with one like Google document, for instance, or Google Sheet for a week, see how you do, and then you can go to the next program and software as initial part. So for next meeting, next week, do you have any suggestions as far as what we need to know or what you need to present? Last year, we presented something about like types of research methodology. If anyone wants to add anything else or come up with any suggestion, please raise your hand or let me know. So the meeting usually be divided into 3 or more sections. One of them will be an education part where it will be 15-20 minutes, maybe half an hour. We will talk about certain topics, and some of you may present in that period. Let's say team 1 will be assigned the task of talking about, let's say, COVID, the new variant, Delta variant or Alpha variant or something. So the team will meet together will decide who will be the presenter, or maybe two presenters. They will work on getting this as a slide or PowerPoint. And then next week, the first part of the meeting will be this presenter or two presenter from team one about, they will talk about the topic that we selected. This is first part. The second part, we will talk about, let's say, the skills that we need to work on, maybe with some demonstration. Maybe as an example, we want to work on SPSS. It's a tool that's used for statistics. So we can use this for demonstration part. Also, it will be 15-20 minutes, maybe half an hour. And the third part will be about the project. And similar to what we did now, we will discuss one project or maybe a couple of projects and see what we can do as teams. And then if there are other parts of the meeting, we can discuss what else. The last part of the meeting, 5-10 minutes, we will discuss about setting agenda for next week or the coming week meeting. So we will be rotating through this process of dividing the meeting and setting up next meeting and so forth. So usually we let the teams decide, or the members, fellows decide to contribute. It's on a volunteer basis. Some of you know something and they may have the skills, the knowledge, and they are able to teach, they are able to share and educate others. And this is a good opportunity to raise your hand and say, oh, well, I think we can talk about this topic and I will be happy to share. Or I think we can work as a team to discuss this. So it's up to you guys. And then also we can jump into the second section, and someone else will say, maybe we should do this for the second part, something like that. So I see Krupa, please jump in, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking there, maybe there should be a possibility of a journal club, because if we take recent geriatric articles and we find something with the methodology or anything that's incorrect, we can always write a letter to the editor, and that could be a possible publication, right? So
Totally agree.
Yeah.
So this is a great idea, and last year we did part of that. So we can assign part of the meeting, maybe half an hour, 20 minutes also for just discussing an article. What we did last year is we selected some topics from JAMA, and we have a tool to analyze or appraise that. And then, as you said, if we understand how to analyze the data, then it will be useful for us when we are writing, when we are publishing, as well as you mentioned, one of the easiest thing to do if you are expert in the area, when you are looking at the topic or the article, when you read it, you can add to that topic by writing a letter to the editor with brief addition, sometimes with brief critique to the article, or maybe you can add some experience from your area or your team or your expertise. So it's kind of a neat niche where you can add also. So I think that might be down the road. I think it's a good idea. So we will consider that and incorporate that. That's a great thing. Thank you for adding. Anything else, guys? Abuzar, please go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. Do we have to choose the topics that we are going to assign to, or it is already chosen and will be assigned to topics?
That's a great question. This is yes or no question or answer. So The no part is if you use the app, you will find there is a tab where it has curriculum. So in that curriculum, we have, let's say, 12 or more key topics that we want you to familiarize yourself with these topics for the research part. So the idea is by the end of this year, you will be ready to conduct a research. When you start your residency, let's say in 2020, you will be required from the second year or maybe the first year to publish something or to contribute to the literature. You do an abstract or you do something. So you will be required to do some part of research in the first, second year. And if you are interested in doing fellowship in certain area, you will be required to do more of that. So our goal is to get you familiar with the steps of doing the research from the start. To do that, if you go over the curriculum, these are the key topics that we want you to know. So let's say if you are interested in knowing one topic, you did not know anything about it, it might be a good idea to assign yourself to that topic and say, hey, can I present that next week, whatever topic, let's say statistic and whatever. So you'll say, I'm interested in volunteering, do that. I know you don't have the idea, but by learning and preparing to teach us, you will learn yourself and you will get the knowledge and you will present us to the whole team about that topic. So you will cover that for yourself and for the group. So this is not limited like an exclusive topics. We can add any other topics to the curriculum. Again, some of you might not have the experience. Some of you might have a lot of experience. So if any one of you wants to participate, it will be a great idea. The one who has the knowledge, it will be good so that you can explain things well and you will be sharing your knowledge and expertise with the group. And we would thank you for that. If you don't have any idea, then you will work hard to get to understand the topic. And when you present the topic, when you educate others, I think you will have a very good idea and about the concept of that topic on the basics. And then in the future, you will benefit from that. So it's going to be win-win situation for either. It depends on, I mean, it doesn't depend on your level of knowledge of the topics. It depends on how much effort you want to put in, how much time you want to share, and we appreciate any effort from any one of you guys. So it's work in progress, and as we go along, we want to cover as much of the curriculum as possible. Maybe we will be successful in doing so, maybe not. That's not the goal. The goal is for each one of you individually to look at this and say, I know this, I know this, I don't know this, I don't know this. How can I educate myself about this topic? You can learn by yourself, YouTube, Khan Academy, there are options to learn about the topic. Or one way is to participate in these meetings. Say, hey, I want to discuss this topic next meeting. Then we will put you on the list. It shouldn't be one person. It could be one person presenting. It could be a couple of persons, as Ali and Lubaba presented their work today. So for that part, you can suggest something and as volunteer. If in the future we want to assign something, we can do that as well. Let's say there is a task for Krupa mentioned journal club. So I will say, hey, Krupa, can you work on getting this done for the next 2 meetings? Then she will be, yes, or maybe she will say, no, I'm afraid I'm preparing for step 3 or whatever family issue. Then we will assign someone the same task for someone else, or maybe someone will volunteer to cover that topic. Does that make sense, everyone? If it doesn't, reply using the text or the chat. So Mohammed Al-Fadil and Mohammed Tijani, please go ahead with any comments or question. Mohammed Al-Fadil first.
Yes, Dr. Nader. Yeah, I think I was asking the same question about, is that apply also for the projects? And what the difference is between, I don't think there is difference, but between the different group colors, green, yellow, red.
It's just organization, just network. So the project, this is a good question. The project, what we want is two things. One, if every one of you, we encourage to come with an idea about a project. Let's say you in, let's say Qatar or whatever area, think about the older population in your area and see there is a problem in this community. How can you address? So the question is, come up with a question or a problem, and then let's see how we can address this problem. This can be done different ways. The one way is to look at the literature, see what problems are there, and maybe you are interested in certain part, and apply that to your community. Say, we took the hesitancy now, vaccine hesitancy. So maybe we can apply that to the Gulf area, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, whatever. Maybe we can work on getting information from this community. Maybe that's the project. So you come with this idea and say, I want to work on that. So we will help you, maybe create a team who's interested in this topic, then you will work on that. If you come up with the idea, maybe you will be the lead on that project. The team for the project will be assigned to you. So you will be running that show, basically assigning who will do this, who will do that. And every week we will come together, we'll discuss about how are you doing that as far as the progress is done. If, let's say, most they don't know anything about the basics of the research and they don't know the ideas or they don't have ideas, there are some ways to help you come up with ideas. The easiest one I think about during this COVID is to look at what is done in this year. So we have a couple of seminars or conferences. People presented some abstract in these conferences. So you look at these abstracts and see how people are thinking about the problem with COVID and each aspect. You might have an idea when you look at all these abstracts in the AGS meeting or AMDA meeting or MSU student meeting or Michigan. There are a couple of meetings where they presented some abstracts. So you look at this abstract, or you look at abstracts in other seminars or journals that are done recently in 2020 or 2019. Look at this and say, hey, this abstract was done basically looking at database, and then they collected information and then they present the data. So for you, you will say, maybe I can do the same. I can look at a database, collect information, and come up with an abstract idea, something like that. So in the coming couple of weeks, we can discuss about what projects you can come up with. This is one option. The other option is you say, hey, I don't have any idea. I have no clue. I can't come up with idea, which is fine. So you join a team where there is already a project going on, or someone come with an idea and he wants to build or she wants to build a team. So you jump on that team and you work together towards completing that project. So either or, you can come up with your own project, or you can join other projects in their teams. The goal is to finish at least one project by the year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mohammed Tijani, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Nader, for the opportunity. Just would like to address something, a point you already mentioned earlier, or to follow up on that point, which is how to access the curriculum. I'm afraid I'm overlooking something in the app. You mentioned that you already have the curriculum in the app, if I'm not wrong. The second point, which is if there is any way we can access previous work published or publication or any previous work done by the this fellowship program, at least to or get familiar with the kind of work being done before, or at least to learn from it. Thank you so much, Shikhan.
You're welcome. Thank you. This is a great question. So I'm gonna share with you my screen in a second. So basically, when you go to the app, I will show you the steps. It has the login, the introduction part, and then it has the main page where there is notification, and there are a couple of items below that. The first one is the meeting. So you click on the meeting, click, and then you join this meeting.
The screen is not sharing, by the way, just so you turn around.
Yes.
Here we go. Now we
No,
go.
I'm just explaining things before the screen is kind of slow. So you can do that while we are talking. Also, you can look at if you have a phone or you have your own computer, you can look at the screen itself. My computer is very, very slow. So here you can hit home, and beside home there is a curriculum. Do you have access to that or not?
No.
Okay, I will make that available. But basically, we have the objective and we have periods or level. So the level of experience, we can identify 3 groups. Some might have early experience in the research, or maybe none at all. So this is the period where I mentioned that you want to learn, self-learn, you want to get familiar with some of the basics, and we're gonna touch on some of the basic tools that we can use and things. And then you can hit available resources if you want to have some videos, let's say, to work around that. And then some people might have some sort of experience in the research. So we will advance this group by addressing some tools of, let's say, data analysis, or tools of how to write an abstract, how to submit a manuscript, something like that. And then the late experience, or the fully experienced fellow in the research field, this is where they can also help others, and at the same time they can submit their own work, either a manuscript or an oral presentation or abstracts. So we want every one of you to reach this level by the end of the fellowship. If you are already in this level, that's well and good. So your job is to work on helping the rest of the fellows to reach this level, and at the same time publish as much as you can while we are working together. So in your CV, you will be an attractive candidate for any programs. These are the basic 3 levels of experience. The objectives, this is the list I said, maybe 13 items. Well, we want you to focus on getting the basics of the how you do a research. You want to identify questions, is what we are talking about. Selecting area. Let's say one of you is interested in cardiology, so it may make sense if you identify topics or join a project that's working in the area of cardiology, something like that, for instance. But in general, we want you to focus on geriatric medicine. So when you publish, you will publish in this area. But let's say you are specifically interested in a small area of expertise. And then you work on the other items. This is basically what we were talking about, the curriculum. You can add more if you're already familiar with this. Does it make sense? Your question answered?
Yes, if you allow me to share my screen, because basically I'm stuck on totally different screen.
No problem. This I logged with my login, so not everyone will look at this. So, for instance, I have notifications. This is meant for me to administer the app, so that when you go to the main here, you will see only one notification. For me, if I want to add notifications, I can add them here, and then it will pop up here. I can increase the number of, instead of only one, you can see more than one, something like that. So this tab can be seen by me, not by every fellow. I hope I will fix this. Maybe it's a problem. The curriculum is supposed to be seen by all of you guys. Here you can see other tablets or tabs you can look at. But send me an email if you have problem. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I do have a problem, but let's
okay, I will maybe I made this visible only to me. Lubaba or Ali, can you comment? Can you see this, or someone else can? Okay.
Yeah, I can see Muhammad Ibrahim. I can see it too. Yeah.
Okay, so I will try to see what's the problem with Muhammad Tijani. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. So any ideas for the next meeting Saturday? Anything that we can work on? Stop sharing. I can see. Okay.
Sarah and Muhammad Al-Fadil are raising their hands.
Okay. Muhammad Al-Fadil, go ahead, and then Sarah.
Yeah. Yes. For the next meeting, I think we need ideas about statistics and SPSS, so we can know something about analysis and collection of data. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah?
Okay, so I believe that I haven't been in, I had only one systemic review, and I believe like the way of systemic analysis is a weakness of mine. So I think I can do research about this week and share what I've learned during the next week in the next session, inshallah.
Inshallah. So Malas, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Nadir, for for asking us about the next topic. As you mentioned before, I guess it's better to start with overview about research, type of research and like this, for because most of us, I guess, we don't know the difference between different parts of researches, so we can have overview of different type of research. Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thank you, Melas. Anyone else? Sarah, did you want to add something? No.
Sorry, no, I just
No,
forgot to.
sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I agree with Melas. Maybe we can work on something, the basics, and then build on that. So maybe we can start with two sections. The first section, maybe we can work on, let's say, if we can have someone, or maybe I can assign the first team. Let's see which team is the first team. The red team, Ali and his team. Maybe you can work on preparing for next week. One thing I want, maybe Ali and someone else, you can work on presenting some basics of SPSS, just the introduction, maybe 5-10 minutes about the demo, how to log into SPSS and how to get the views. There are 3 windows, and get the basics data and how you identify or build the data. I mean, Ali Mohammed. Ali, the team leader for the red team. So next week will be the red team assignment. One part is SPSS, just the basics, and the other part maybe you can work on presenting something about the type of research. The same topic that Mulham started with last year, Ali, if you know that, Ali Muhammad.
Okay, that's good. We will present the next week, inshallah. Basics about SPSS and the types of studies research. I just wanted to, for the red group members, please send me a WhatsApp message. I have sent my phone number in the email. And also, if you join this group, Lubaba put a link already on the chat box. So this is a big group for all the fellows. And also, we are going to make a group for the red team, so we can discuss further what we present next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ali and Muhammad, and thank you, Lubaba. So if you want to continue the discussion with Ali for the red team, you can join the WhatsApp group and then take it from there. And if you go back for the project Lubaba is working on and her team, you can contact also via the WhatsApp group. Any questions before we close our meeting? Any comments or any?
Hello,
Tamadur?
Dr. Nader.
Assalamu alaikum,
Hello.
Tamadur. How are you?
Walaikum assalam.
So Tamadur joined us late and she had a newborn, right? So
yes.
Welcome. You can introduce yourself and you can add your comment.
I am Tamadur Obeid, ASFMG certified, live in America, Rhode Island. I was in the batch 1 and then joined batch 2. I hope we can help and benefit from all of that. I didn't find the team in the app.
That's okay. It's at my end. There are some glitches here, so I will fix the app for you tomorrow.
Okay.
So don't
Okay,
worry
thank
about
you.
it. No problem. Okay. So Khalid Osman, he's not here, but Tamadr and Khalid will be working on getting their team. I think the orange team. Okay. Any other questions before we end this meeting? Go ahead, Malas. I think you're raising your hand. Or is this from before? I'm not sure.
I want just confirm. Do we have a fixed time we will meet? Because some of us they have a schedule and job, so we can fix our schedule.
This is what I said. We can meet 2 to 4. Sometimes in the coming few weeks, because we might extend it beyond the 2 hours meeting. So if you have anything to go, let's say you have your kids or your family, your mother, or you have work to do, or others assignment or other tasks, you need to leave the meeting. We want you to be able to attend at least these 2 hours from 2 to 4. After 4, if you have free time, you can stick around. If you don't have time, or you have to go to other tasks in your life, feel free to do that. If you want to know what happened during this meeting, in the app, there is an icon for recorded Zoom meetings. So you can go back to that recorded video, and you can start from where we stopped with you when you left the meeting. You can get update as far as what we were talking about. If that worked for you guys, we try to make it within the 2 hours window, but sometimes we extend it as we did today, and that's fine. So does it make sense to you, Melas? Lubaba, go ahead. And Krupa, if you...
Yeah, just a brief suggestion regarding to the learning piece of each meeting. If we can go by the order of the curriculum itself, that maybe take turns in the groups. So we will ensure that we cover every point. Even people they have knowledge of the subject might present for others. Just a suggestion, like, so this is going to be specific piece of learning each meeting, in addition to the discussion and added suggestions. Just a point, I'm looking at the list in the app, so it's a lot of topics that we need to tackle, I think. My suggestion, thank you.
And thank you so much, Lubaba, for the suggestion, and I think it's a great idea. So anything else? If not, so I suggest you join the group. I also suggest work on getting the skills from whatever area. If you are interested in Microsoft or Google Sheet or other basics, that might be a good option. We have some meetings done in the past year, some of them about interview skills or interview tips. If you have time to look at this, that would be also great. Some of this can be watched, it's like a video on YouTube. One thing you can do when you viewing these videos, you can increase the speed of the video so that you don't have to spend 2 hours to attend the whole meeting for a brief area where you are interested in. Let's say we discussed tips about the interview and it took 15 minutes. Instead of spending the whole 2 hours watching the video for these 15 minutes, you can run the video with high speed, double speed, so that you can come and look at what area you are interested in from previous videos or meetings or discussion. Muhammad Al-Fadil, go ahead. Muhammad Al-Fadil, you raised your hand.
Yes, yeah, I just disconnected. Okay, so I have a question about in the app there is something about the progress. So how do you know that the progress and the continuous evaluation? Yeah.
So this is just a new feature we want to play around with the app, so you don't have to worry. So the requirement is 1 project by the end of the year. We will give you a certificate that you completed the full year and participated in the progress of the. So it's just a feature. We are not going to use it for the evaluation, so don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so then if no questions, then we will plan to see you guys 2 o'clock next Saturday. If you have any questions, any comments, please reach me via email, or you have my phone number. If not, I will give it to you. You can reach me, call, text, or WhatsApp. I'll be happy to get back in touch with you guys. Rupa and Lubaba, anyone wants to add anything? Or just me?
Oh, sorry, just turn it on by mistake.
No, that's all right. So I wish you all the best, guys, and I really appreciate your time and your energy and enthusiasm, and we will see you next week. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Night.
Thank you, Dr. Nadir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Nader.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Guys, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. See you next week.
See ya.
Thank you.